Come for a meet. You know about the meeting?
Me?
Yeah. 330 more houses going up on the end of Mundesley Road. You know that?
I know there's some supposed to be going up. Oh, past the football field.
Yeah. 54.
Can't cope, can we?
Ridiculous, isn't it?
Yes, United. Right, yes. Yeah, I know.
Just going to swap that round.
Yeah,
Put
sure.
Paul in first and then yourself after.
Well,
Is that all right?
I don't want to say anything particularly. I've spoken to people.
Why not?
Well, you just...
Well, no.
Can I come over here with you guys?
You may if you wish.
I can hide better then. Thank you. Not started yet then, is it?
No.
Okay, cool.
Are you recording it?
Yes.
Who are you?
Why?
Because I don't want my face on anything that you're recording.
Then don't stand in front of my camera.
Right, okay, well you might find your camera out on the road.
Don't get nasty now.
I'd like to thank the Phoenix Club for giving us this opportunity to use this space for within a couple of days. So they were very quick to help us out. There is a little tub around somewhere for any donations if anybody wants to make it. But they're not charging us for this facility because it's such short notice. So, but appreciate that. Thanks to all for coming, and thanks to the district councillors for their time, which is Kate Leith, who's in the doorway, and Paul Heinrich here, who is also a district councillor and on the he's the chairman of the development committee, and he has a few things to say. As far as I'm concerned, I can claim definitely to being an NIMBY because I live in Swayfield Rise and I look over the beautiful field. But obviously, there's an awful lot more than just protecting a nice view. There's a heck of a lot more to do with all sorts of different things, which I'm sure Paul will highlight a little bit about. So, Paul, can I hand over to you? And after Paul's finished, he's quite happy to take questions and things at the end.
Okay, some of you know me, Paul Heinrich. I've been district councillor for North Walsham East since 2019. Got in the town, moved away, came back, always had family in the town. Very familiar with the old place. I was here originally at past, and I think we had 5,500 people really, now 14,000. An awful lot more proposed. As you are aware, the district has been developing a local plan as required by law for development over the next 15 years. In fact, that's a bit late because it started in 2016 and we're now at almost to the final point with it. And we're hoping to be signed off. However, there was a change of government, as you might have noticed. Not sure there was any improvement, but there we go. New government has decreed that the country will build 3 million houses during the lifetime of government. And they will go wherever the government says they're going to go. The district local plan proposed roughly 480 houses a year over the life of the plan. Government thinks we should be building 970 a year over the life of the plan. The inspector decreed that he didn't like our calculations based on 2014 census projections and insisted we take government figures which, when you look at the data, are actually not very accurate. The population is not growing as fast as they say. However, he wants us to build something around 550 houses a year, an increase of around 70 odd, which over the lifetime of the plan is just by the ground. And they've got to go somewhere. So he, in his wisdom, looked at the sites that had been rejected, of which NW16 is one, and said, put that one back in, put Clifton Park and Cromer back in, extend that one, put more housing in larger growth villages, and find any other sites you can. Now, of course, a certain developer, who's already, back in 2017, flown off on this site, immediately dived in and was the plans. There is no planning application currently. So we're not talking about the planning application from Richborough, though we know pretty well what it will look like when it comes. So that's the first thing. What we can comment on at this stage is the inclusion of the NW16 site. That's everything from the bypass right along the back of Slayfield Rise and the far end of Acorn Road, almost down to the canal. Can't go any further because I'm sitting in marsh at that point. Something around 330 houses there, give or take. Till you get an outline planning application, you don't know any details on it. So the site is put forward for 330. Now, the history of it. When we got to the Regulation 18 consultation a couple of years ago, just after COVID, the following was in that consultation. The site is not preferred. It is reasonably remote from the town centre and services. It's an extension to open countryside. Could have an adverse effect on the landscape. Highways access to the local network are considered unsuitable. The preferred sites, North Walsham West plus the Norwich Road development, and now the old Paston Plain Road. Preferred sites can deliver sufficient housing for North Walsham. That remains the opinion of many planners, certainly it's not opinion. We were asked to take 2,200 houses. At least North Walsham West is well planned. There is a comprehensive development brief for it. We know where facilities will be going. We know what the highways are. We know what highway obligations will be. Any proposal for NW16 throws a lot of that up in the air. A lot of the calculations are going out. Now, we know the proposals came forward, and somewhere along the line, by the time we got to the second stage of the consultation, a year ago, one or two of our planners had changed their mind. They said the site still scores negatively on environmental matters, major settlement, moderate susceptibility to groundwater flooding, well, certainly in the lower end, I suspect that's the case. Possible surface water flooding, effect on Grade 2 listed buildings nearby, potential negative biodiversity impact, adjacent to the railway cutting and overlooking nature reserve. So, loss of agricultural land, yeah, it's all there. But, apparently it scores positively by being going into the settlement. Complete reverse from what they said at the start. It's got good access to local healthcare service.
Yeah.
3.5 weeks of call back from the doctor? That's not.
That's not true though, is it? You need to stick to facts. It's not 3.5 weeks call back from the doctor, so stick to facts, okay?
No, I'm talking about personal experience recently.
All right, well, I'm talking about my personal
Yeah.
experience and I get a call straight back, so please.
You were potentially lucky then.
No, I'm not, because I've phoned more than once.
Personal experience. It's good access to education facilities. You have to drive to these schools. You're not going to walk from that site to Manor Road or to the high school. It's not sensible. The pavements or Mundesley Road are not good at best. There's no public transport to talk of, and you're a long way from any leisure and cultural activities. So, they can dream up these positives, but in my view, they don't exist, and that's the case I argue that's banned policy. So there's a whole list of reasons why this site should not go forward. I've summarised them, and I'm going to give out a little summary to those who want it to respond. So the position now is that the site has been put forward in the local plan. We have till middle of December 19 to comment on that local plan. And the best way of doing that is through the website. Go to the link, right down to the bottom to find out where to get across to the actual pages to comment. You don't have to register. It's not a friendly system, but it's one that the government has forced on us. We have to use this system. That is how the planning inspectorate wants responses to come in. The planning inspectorate call the tune at the moment. They say that site's going ahead. We cannot stop it. If they don't, someone
Can I just intersect
Yeah,
there? I registered on the portal.
Yeah.
I could then not log in, so I sent an email, which has been accepted. So if you can't get there are other ways.
Yeah, if you email to planning,
Planning portal, yeah.
they don't want them coming in, they would want them coming in on the site.
Yeah.
Because it's automatically collated.
Can I just have a
It's
word?
not friendly.
Yeah, go ahead.
So far in the last month, 2 months, we've had 2 lots of surveyors surveying the field. We've had ground surveyed on it over 2 days. So if it hasn't gone through it, how come it's being surveyed by developers?
Because they have a perfect right to. If they've got an agreement with the landowner, they can do it. There's nothing to stop them. Remember, anybody can put in a planning application on any site, whether they own it or not. That's the law.
And they can survey it and they can do ground searches.
Yes.
If they've got permission to do it
Yes.
and access.
Landowners
If they've
to
got
do it.
permission to do it.
Yeah, I can do one on your house if I want to.
Yeah,
I'll
no,
go
no, I mean, they've had machine, ground
Yeah, I know.
search, deep
As long
search.
as they've got permission to do it, they can do it.
So they've got permission from the landowner.
Anything they do with the agreement with the landowner, they can do.
So the landowners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a, sorry, could I just interrupt? It's a fairly simple site insofar as it is the complete field is just owned by one person.
Oh,
So,
no, yeah.
yeah, I'm sure you're aware, as most people probably are. So it's easy access from that point of view, provided he
Oh,
says
yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
But I agree. I saw this chap going up and down on a quad bike with
Yeah, and
geophys
there's-
stuff.
There was 3 surveyors a
Yeah,
few weeks before.
Yeah.
And a
that's
couple
what actually
since.
started me thinking, what's going on here?
Yeah, they wouldn't
Because
divulge.
there was an arboreal portalist who went round all around the outside edge looking at all the trees as well.
Yes, all right. Yeah, there was. So it's pretty gone quite far, considering nothing else has happened.
Yes, exactly.
So there's a lot of work being
Nobody's
done
going to
on it
spend that money without
before they've
thinking.
even got so-called permission, which we all know they're going to get.
If we all do oppose this, have we got a chance of stopping it? Or do you think it's kind of like already been decided and it's just a process that we're going through consultation? Like how?
If I'm going to be absolutely honest, if the inspector insists on the site coming in, we have no chance. That's the bottom line. He is demanding the site comes in. There is no other site in the district that can provide that number of houses to meet his demands for the amount of housing North has to allocate land.
Is there not if the numbers were sufficient and great enough, would there not be some form of appeal or?
You cannot appeal against a planning inspector.
He's a bit like the VAT man.
You can appeal against a refusal by a planning application by my development committee. That's a different matter. Once a planning inspector makes a judgment, that is it. So the district council has basically had a gun held to its head from the inspector saying you will build this or allocate land for this number of houses over the 15-year period of the plan, or I will not sign it off. If he doesn't sign the local plan off, then any developer can go after any site they like across the district. They'll have no control whatsoever.
So can I ask, what is the purpose then of the consultation process that's supposed to be in place?
None at all.
The issue of
Complete waste
putting
of time.
us, the residents.
It is a little bit of jumping through hoops. It may make a difference in the way that the site, he may want to reduce the scale, he may take note of what he said, and clearly he is not local. All of him comes up from London. He's made a few very crazy ideas that villages that ought to be expanded. He said, what Nabbit? We've told him where to stick them very quickly. He just shows lack of understanding.
Why can't they just put an extra 300 houses on the 1800 and they're going to build over there?
Because that site has already been rubber stamped by the inspector as part of the local plan on our plan. There is to put more on there would involve a complete rethink of landscaping, drainage, of highways.
It's an absolute disgrace. This town can't cope with that amount of people. It's ridiculous.
I know.
Can I just ask a
Yes.
question? Why are they not looking at the old Crane Food Hub site? Why are they going
That,
to green
Yeah.
and stuff?
the Crane site is included in North Walsham West. It's industrial development
sure.
land from along Cromer Road back to the railway. There'll be no housing over that side now. There was going to be, but we've had to pull 70 odd houses from the far side of the railway back into the main part of North Walsham West.
So instead we'll build right near a nature reserve.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no answer to it, is there?
The demand for this has come from the planning inspector, not from district planners.
Is there a
So in other words,
in-
oh, sorry,
You first, and then we come to you.
so the local council really's got nothing to do with it.
We have no control once.
So
the
why do we
inspector-
vote for local council if they don't do anything?
Because the planning inspector can overrule our plans.
But why aren't you complaining, why aren't you making a move against the planning inspector? Why are you just saying,
Because that's what
I'm
this
sorry,
meeting
the
is about,
planning
isn't it?
inspector says you can.
We have to comply with the law that is set out by government. Angela Rayner and her colleagues have dictated that we're going to build all these houses, and they just allocate numbers. Norfolk.
But what is the council doing to stop it? Just what, are you complaining to anybody? Or are you just saying, oh right, they've said we can do it, so we'll do it?
The council has made excuse now. That, you know, if you're
I haven't heard any views from it.
when we're fighting government, that all has to be done in certain protocols.
So, yeah, so it's the usual con like it usually is.
Sorry, when they proposed this about 7 years ago, they were talking about putting a new doctor's surgery and stuff like that.
You
to
can forget all
help
that.
The people that would be coming in, and also obviously over the other side. Are there no plans for that this time?
Not that I'm aware of.
No.
Until it's the application, you wouldn't know. Right, so send one of those.
Good
Remember
plan.
those.
If this is coming from central government, is there not merit in writing to the Minister for Housing and Planning,
It is
hit it
better.
at the top and invite him to come to Norfolk and see what's happening?
I think it's best if we go via our MP and after Kate's had a word, I'll read a statement from Steph as to his current position. on this.
What, if anything, does the cabling that's coming from the wind farm across that field apply to the planning for the houses that are going to go on top of all the cables?
But they're not, they're going across the corner.
It'll cut across a corner, they'll simply put landscaping on that area.
Okay, so
No,
another
the bigger concern would be getting out onto B1145 across the railway.
Yes.
And
Gonna build a bridge, aren't
what I have been told by a planning officer, and apparently this all supposed to be, there's a part of the confidential initial discussions with planning officers, is they want to put a bridge across and a roundabout. Now, anybody who knows civil engineering knows that bridges don't come cheap,
Exactly.
and roundabouts can be crazy priced as well. We're talking about
Cost millions.
3 million for one Holloway Road. That then potentially impacts on the viability of the site. And every site undergoes what's called a viability test, because developers are entitled to make an average 17.5% profit.
The thing is, all they'll do, if they turn that down, they're just going to use Mundesley Road and Lingay Road, which was what they wanted in the first place. But
That
if they put in,
would definitely not be acceptable. And they know that's why they're looking at this alternative.
yeah, because that will divert it, and they'll get the permission for it, and they'll use Mundesley Road.
Till we see a planning application, I can't comment on any details on that, because it's impossible, because you can only deal with an application that's in front of you. What we're dealing with at the moment is the consultation on the site.
Yes, but we all know what's going to happen. So why isn't something to be done against the government, the planning officers to stop it? There's no, well, nothing to be done. Everybody's just sitting back, oh dear, and that's it. Doesn't affect people, you know. It's,
Would you mind making these kind of comments at the end? It's Saturday morning. A lot of us are really quite busy. If you wouldn't mind.
Let me just summarize a few things. Anybody else want to come in quickly? Yes.
Yeah. The reams of paperwork that I read last night, the roundabout has not been defined in the consultation between the council and the planning officer as to when that needs to be built. It's open, so it could be built at the end, which means all the construction site traffic will go down Mundesley Road into the field. And then they'll say, well, we can do it with the lorries, we can do it with the cars.
Now, that would be part of the conditions set on any planning permission. They would have to put that infrastructure in first.
Right.
That can be done.
So whereabouts are they talking putting this bridge? Are they going to open up the end of Mundesley Road again and make it a through road?
No, the end of Mundesley Road, as far as I'm aware, would stay as it is. So I've seen no plans, so I can't comment really on something that's vague aware at the moment. That triangle of land, they'd come over the cutting and around about potentially almost at the top of the
So
hill.
across the Paston Way?
Yeah.
So we're gonna lose the entrance to the Paston Way?
No, there'd be a bridge, so you still get, we don't know what they've proposed yet. Till there are drawings available, you can't comment.
So do you know yet whether they're opening up, like last time, they were gonna go into, like, the top of Mundesley Road, there was gonna be a road and it was coming out by Old Road. Do you know at the moment whether that's likely to happen?
According to plan, my town planner, that is off the discussion at the moment.
Also, where the roundabout is, we can only access to that.
Yeah, there may be a secondary access, but we would condition that to have a barrier across the farm.
So will you stop the cars coming down Mundesley Road and down Wingate Road, that site's built, because people just use that as a shortcut anyway?
If they can't access the area without going up the 745 on a roundabout, then
So they'll have to come out of the estate, go onto the bypass and come back down to go into North Walsham.
it is a potential concern, but there is no planning application. All we've got is a site being allocated in the local plan at the demand of the planning inspector.
So what does our MP say about this? Because he should be here.
Yeah, he's got a very busy diary. And
He's on the Transport Committee.
he's on the transport committee,
So
yes.
he should get involved in this.
He is. So I'll read the statement.
Yes, yeah.
Let me read this.
Very sympathetic.
Just
Let me-
before you do that, can I just ask one more question?
Yeah, go.
If, let's say, it goes into the local plan and it's in there, do you then, as North Walsham District Council, have influence on how it's done and the highways that will?
Oh, yes.
So at that point, you can say, well, actually, if you go down this road, actually, that's not going to work, and then
Any planning application coming in, and the suspect local plan is signed off end of March, beginning of April, as we expect. If the site is still in, there'll be a planning application on the boss's desk the next day.
okay, and at that point, you have influence over it.
At that point, the planners will negotiate a whole range of aspects of the development. It will ultimately come before the development committee. I've already spoken to the legal officer. I won't be able to chair that meeting because I'm only on the floor having a good go at this.
Okay, so that at that point, it might be.
That's the point where the real objections and define how that might take. Yeah, just one of those three steps.
Yeah, I've lived right at the top of Acorn Road, and obviously we looked at them at one time, they're looking at that road to go straight ahead. I've been told that's just going to be pedestrian and bicycle.
Yes, that's the intention.
I
Look,
mean, that's
that's,
what I was worried about, because that road,
it couldn't cope at all.
if you've got 330 houses, every house is only going to have 2 cars. So that's over
Yeah.
600 cars.
Yeah. I mean,
That whole road can't cope with, especially if it's going over some on the, through Preston and Sway fields, it just.
Right. If it's okay, I'll read Steph's statement, then I'll just give you a list of the key areas to cover when you respond to the consultation.
We've got a list here too, which we can.
Yeah, I've got a short, a phrasing list there which we can hand round to people. I need about 20 of them. I haven't expected to see people. If I read, so from Steph Acheron MP, I'm deeply sympathetic to the concerns of local residents when it comes to planning applications of this scale. I'm proud that North Norfolk is broadly a unity, yes, in my backyard community. We all know someone who is struggling, whether it's to find the next stage of housing or meet their family's needs, or to access any housing appropriate whatsoever. This issue cuts across various groups, not just those in need of social housing, which there is insufficient supply, but also those with incomes who cannot find or afford private rentals or purchases due to pressures on the housing market. This problem is compounded by the continued failure of successive governments to legislate effectively, leaving planning authorities without the power to reject developments that don't genuinely meet local needs. Too often, even social housing quotas are whittled out of by developers, and current laws leave council planning teams with limited ability to demand that new housing is genuinely affordable for local people. Unfortunately, this situation remains unchanged, though there is an ongoing government consultation on the planning framework. Meanwhile, the government has announced a near doubling of house building targets without addressing these systemic issues or without any of these measures put in place, not to mention the importance of ensuring that infrastructure goes in first. By infrastructure, I mean roads, schools, GP surgeries, dentists, public transport, green spaces, and design principles that promote walking, cycling, and the creation of genuine communities, not just another estate on the outskirts of a town. What we're seeing now is the District Council's necessary response to these increased legal house building targets. District councils are required to have what is called a 5-year land supply, meaning they must identify where developments over the next 5 years could be located to meet government targets. We don't currently have that, partly because of the nutrient neutrality issues over in the West End. It's holding up the 900 house estate in Fakenham. However, this doesn't necessarily mean planning permission will be granted on all these sites immediately. I remain hopeful that further legislation will address some of the challenges outlined above. At this moment, communities are understandably worried about the imposition of these new targets and what they mean for local development. This particular development is one example of those concerns. I'm proud that as Liberal Democrats we strive to balance the needs of councils, such as North Norfolk and North Walsham. Obviously we control North Norfolk District Council with the needs and voices of local communities. That's why your councils are engaging with you today about this site and why they, like you, believe it is not an appropriate location for housing development. Development must be proportionate and all development must contribute to tackling the housing crisis. I believe in achieving both these things at the same time for your concerns. I will carefully consider your concerns and reflect on the conclusions drawn from today's meeting. And I would encourage you to make your views known to steph.ackerham.mp@parliament.uk. You can find it on the Lib Dem website. Can't remember that one.
So the bottom line is, that as long as you meet the criteria, he is actually for the proposal, or what you just now
No,
said.
he is for development that provides housing for local people.
Exactly. As long as you meet the criteria, he's happy for it to go ahead. That's what you just now
Not
said.
necessarily on this site. You don't mention that site.
But if it
Broad
is
term.
this site meets it, that says, yeah, it can go ahead.
It certainly won't be South Reps, that's for certain.
I've heard nothing on that which you now read out that says he opposes the site full stop.
I agree. So it hasn't said he opposes the site full stop, but he does know the inappropriateness of this site. Remember, he has to listen and then take.
It's playing with words.
Exactly.
So, anyway,
Why isn't he here to see?
Yeah.
Because he has other meetings,
Because he's an
including,
MP.
I think it's in King's Lea today. So outside of this wall, but there's a county-wide thing.
But once that's put on the plan, then those houses have got to go somewhere, haven't they? And
Yeah,
once that-
we have to build houses. I mean, we're upset. I can imagine what's going on in the larger growth villages now. We're suddenly told there'll be 50 houses on the outskirts of a village of 1,000 people. Yeah. This is imposed by government. We have to respond.
Yeah, I understand that, but once that piece of land is accepted onto the plan, then you have got to build on it, haven't you? Because that is part of the plan.
A developer will come forward on any site they think they can get away with. At least on a site that's obviously a local plan, we have control. As I say, if the council does not have a local plan because the inspector refuses to sign it off, then you're going to get that one forward. Taylor Wimpey will be after the land at the end of Thurley Road for starters. Will probably be after land off Bradfield Road. And the 3 areas I know they've already been sniffing around in the past. So, it could be open season. Ultimately, I prefer that the district has some control at least. But this is not a suitable site in my view. And if you're happy, I'll just give it a.
Yes, sorry, no, I was just going to actually interject and ask a question. And if the inspector insists that the planning application be accepted and it goes ahead.
There's no planning application, it's
No,
the
sorry.
site we're talking about.
Yeah, okay.
Principle of the site.
Yes, the principle of the site, okay. Well, let's say that sometime in the future, if a planning application is put in for that particular site, and it is accepted, am I right in thinking then that the district council, who could put terms and conditions on the acceptance of the plan, could actually stop the plan, and the inspector could not overrule the planning officer's stipulation that these things must be done in order for the plan to go ahead.
A grey area in planning terms. Planning is horrendously complicated. And the rules are changed on a regular basis. If a planning application is approved subject to a long list of conditions, then it is open for an applicant to come back and ask for a further application for a revision. Those can be refused because they are separate considerations. They would then appeal. Appeals take 18 months.
Can you assure us that, as you say, you think it's wrong for that site, mate, that if a planning application did get put in eventually, that the local council will veto it? Because you said yourself you didn't think it was the right step. So will it be?
If the site is included in the local plan, we know there'll be an application coming very quickly.
Right.
That would be considered in the normal way and decided by the development committee.
But you've already said you don't think it's viable, so the committee will say no, it's not suitable. So in other words,
without seeing an application, without knowing the details,
I do understand. It's all right.
On what reasons refusal might be. I mean, one would be that it's not providing sufficient affordable housing, and the requirement under our policies for this part of the district, because of lower house prices in the North Walsham style areas compared with the Holton West.
So how many affordable houses do you reckon they'll put on there?
The expectation would be a minimum 15%.
Really?
Which is not enough.
Normally they build about 5 or 6.
Affordable means a mixture of social rent, of the normal housing association rent, which is 20% of our market, and shared ownership. Those are the three classes, and that usually involves an agreement with either usually flagship, sometimes boarding house.
Oh, because affordable is the other thing where they just knock 10% off the house price as well. That's dangerous.
Yeah, that's a matter for them.
Well, everything's a matter for them. I think it's outrageous.
Yeah, well, ultimately, developers have to get behind.
No, but then you're giving in already if you say that.
Yeah.
I mean,
ultimately they do, especially when they've got the government to tell them to build.
Yeah, and the local council.
We're fighting, we're fighting illegal action. That's all we can do. Make our voice heard, at least. Make something better. And the message we're giving is not so much to the district. Well, we've got to go ahead from the inspector. It is for Richborough when they come forward with a plan. That it's realised the level of unhappiness. We might get at least a decent development.
So have you talked to Coltishall about it as well?
Coltishall are not happy at all. They have appeared a number of times before both our Review and Scrutiny Committee to make their clients and planning to our.
Is that the one on Norwich Road? What about this one?
They are concerned not about just about Norwich Road, but about the whole western development. The potential to put, I would think 3,500 to 4,000 extra cars through Coltishall a day.
That just would be huge.
Just for that. This, if we look at 330 on NW16, okay, that's a minimum 700 plus movements a day. I would put it more like 1,200 plus as a likely minimum. That would, we know what that would do to highways. Just coming to get to school, get more traffic on Backton Road or up Bluebell Road to get to the school. Parking around the school.
There'll be more traffic on Mundesley Road because that's the shortcut to get to Sainsbury's in the town.
Yeah, let me just run through my key objection that I've put.
Can I ask about the bridge first that they're speaking about putting? That will be behind my house. So what option, is there anything that householders would be able to complain about? Because that would overlook our house. The traffic would be nightmare. And also all down the road, obviously for everyone. But and this roundabout, that would also be behind my house.
The exact access layout would be the matter of negotiation with planners.
Yeah.
But that would be the point where you could raise objections on any application.
but if that bridge doesn't go ahead, then they wouldn't be able to build in Finland. Because
Unlike,
they can't put the traffic done on.
unlikely, unlikely.
The
Never,
bridge
never
is
say never.
something that we mentioned, in our objections,
Yeah.
the bridge has to be
But
mentioned.
that's a matter of when there's an actual planning application.
Yeah, but
In
unless,
principle, the site.
but unless the
Could
bridge.
we,
Fine.
can I just ask if we could, bring this section of it more or less to a close, because unfortunately, I mean, I'd like very much to thank you all for,
Do you want to go through the?
yes, please, yeah, for going through all this for us,
Okay.
because you're not able to actually say, no, I'll stop it.
No,
Which is
no.
what we would like to hear.
Yeah, I know you would. I know. Politics is the art of compromise, ultimately, right? Okay, so these are the key areas I highlighted in my response, which are the repeat of what I said in planning policy, which was widely reported in the press a few weeks ago. Firstly, I don't regard the proposed change as being positively prepared. It's been rushed, and it's contrary to previous evaluations of the site. That's a very important point to make. Well, I recognise there is a demand for more housing. It's unreasonable to put yet more in North Walsham, given currently permissioned sites and North Walsham West. You know, basically, the infrastructural town cannot cope. And there is
the
no
best place to
clear
hide
vision
them.
for how that would be. Certainly, while national policy is to build local need infrastructure, water, power supply, that is not an acceptable approach in a rural area. Remember, we are constrained by the coast. The coast is going to meet us. We've got the Broads on the other side. We've got a high-value landscape, formerly an area of outstanding natural beauty running right across the Cromer Ridge area. We've got some of the best farmland in the country. And we've got areas constrained by what's called nutrient neutrality issues, where naturally we won't let building go ahead, despite the fact there's a huge site permission both in Stalham and Fakenham, until they resolve the problem of nitrates and phosphates getting into the Bure and the and into the Upper Wensum. So that's another problem we're facing, which is holding up a lot of current development. North Walsham lies outside those nutrient neutrality areas. That needs to be kept in mind as well. The site was rejected much earlier in the process. I said rejected the regulation 18 consultation, and again, although the plan at the time watered down the reasons at that point, but in my view, the inspectors demonstrated a complete lack of understanding. So we even looked at it, of the pedestrian and vehicle flows in the area, the actual real access to education, not just saying there's a school within half a mile, which is what we normally do. They haven't looked at the shopping. You know, what's going to leave more shops, where they're going to go? Probably out on the Cromer Road. Health service issues, and we still seem a long way from this combined medical centre that's been mooted. Access site is poor, and obviously we cannot use Acorn Road. I know that road very well, sister used to live there. Mundesley Road is a cul-de-sac and has been 30 odd years now, if I recall correctly. You're certainly not going to put 700 and more vehicles down there and then having no road. And note that we understand they might provide access via a bridge, but once you look at the cost of a bridge and a roundabout, it raises viability issues as to whether the affordable housing that we as Democrat councils regard as critical, and remember 2017 they offered 45%. I intend to hold them to that. But they will come back with viability arguments, which is how Hopkins keep getting away with not building as many as they should do. There are highway safety questions over where that roundabout is suggested. You'll be at the top of a rise, traffic coming up over the canal bridges, up the hill, be confronted with a roundabout. don't know what highways have said about that, but I'd be interested to see when they do. It's not well located for access to education, town centre, medical. Walking routes are unsuitable to primary schools, several road crossings, or pavements, so increasing traffic congestion at school times. It's a long way from supermarkets, certainly from the railway station and from the travel hub. No public transport, they couldn't provide a hopper bus? No, I doubt it. And there's the issue of employment. The inspector seems to think there's plenty of employment close by an industrial estate. Does he know the same town line? There is a reasonable level of traditional activities on the industrial estate. Any professionals will end up working in Norwich and they will probably drive there. A very good railway service considering. But not everyone wants to travel by train and be down in Thornton. There's also the other traffic issues, obviously Coltishall. They will take a view, certainly Broadham Council will be taking a view on this. Coltishall cannot cope. There is no prospect yet of any way of getting traffic round. I don't want to send it over via Roxton. Even worse. Then with the highway management proposals for North Walsham West were based on that development, and they include a lot of potential mitigations, changing traffic lights and junction layouts and so on, which have been intensively modelled at considerable expense. Any further traffic coming down the bypass, those lights, throws all those calculations up. Somebody's going to go back into a complete new traffic management stuff here at some point. I've also raised the issue of who are these dwellings for? There's only a modest increase in our population. And we have a huge number of people born and bred here who cannot get decent housing. Stuck on housing lists, very little chance. And we know who buys these houses. And it's not local people. Unfortunately, it's my generation, we're the ones who are going to make demands on health service. Now, our priority should be houses for local people, not high-end houses for incomers. Then there's a few other things. There's the loss of high-grade agricultural land. Like the same thing to this ludicrous idea for these huge solar farms. I've got a farm. Land is for growing food. It's not for building. There's environmental damage. We're looking now across a sensitive landscape. Upper Ant Valley is now very biodiverse, especially thanks to Wildlife Trust and others, and the canal people. Usually, where's that surface water going? No, they'll produce what's called a SUD, a Sustainable Urban Drainage System, which will basically take it all down the bottom and dump it on the marsh. No other way of doing it from that. On the highest points of town. Those are the key issues. I've summarised them for you, and I'll hand some of these around and run a few more off for those who want them. And it is up to you then to get on that website or to write in. Personally, I don't care if you do write in, rather than put it on the website. It'll make some work for our officers, but it'll make them think a lot more if they've got to go through the paper, I have to say. Don't quote me on that, I won't be popular.
It's such a complicated, long-winded process to actually create an account, log on, find out the information, and loads of people have said that to me.
Yeah.
Why is it so complicated? Why can't you just send out a link to everyone?
Because it's the whole structure is set as by the planning inspector as to what things look like, and they don't take account of simplicity.
It's ridiculous.
If you want something complex, you get a government IT consultant to do that.
No, they don't.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if anyone knows the answer to this, but on a practical level, are there actually spaces available at local schools for new young people coming in? Where will those children go?
Manor's very tight. High school has quite a lot of vacancies. There's a number of vacancies, I believe, up at Millfield. There's a new school proposed at North Walsham West. Which would be sort of, I think I remember the drawings correctly, somewhere near the football club.
A primary or a secondary?
It would be a primary. So that is in the North Walsham West proposals. But again, it's very distant from NW16.
Thank you.
For those that are having a struggle with the website, can you provide us with an email address that we can email, or is it on the?
Planning at north-norfolk.uk.
Maybe we'll write it on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You can highlight. I'll give you a couple of email addresses.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. Just in terms of getting, you haven't got a nice little screen to show something on it. Come to you in a moment. Show you, but you need when you get through to the portal, there's only one bit you need to look at. Come down the menu on the left, 2.3.
Yeah, I've actually done it, but it was a struggle.
Yeah. Once you get through to it, and that's half the battle. Once you get through to it, you go to 2.3 on the left-hand menu, and then you've got to come across to the right to find the button on which to respond. It's abysmal design, I agree, but it's not something we've designed. We've had to use it.
Just something on the North Walsham West development, which ties in with this. I'm sure I looked the other day, and it said they're now only going to build 1,520 something homes, not putting the link through it. And I'm just wondering if that's the case, is that the reason why this development is now popped up for the 330 homes to make the grand total a lot? That's a very strange coincidence.
I don't know where that's come from, but
it's on the NBC website.
Yeah, there's a small reduction potentially there.
Well, it's 300.
No, because it's only going to be 70.
Well, it's 1,521 on the website.
You're probably not including the LD accommodation, which is still on.
I just went by what the figures
Yeah.
said.
Yeah, no, the development brief for that site is approximately 1,800, approximately, because you never put the exact figure on until the plans come in. The link road is there. It doesn't go beyond Cromer Road, but it goes up to the railway, because that's the land they
Yeah, but it said it's not going as far as that.
No, the problem is they own the land just north of the railway bridge on Link Road. They have no control over land north of that industrial estate. So it's not in their power to go any further.
And is our local MP here today?
No, he's not prime meeting in the west of the county.
Oh, right.
Yeah, very short notice, and MP's diaries do fill up weeks ahead.
Yeah, we were lucky in getting in here actually at such short notice.
Is nature taken into consideration as well? Because there's bats that fly past our house at the
Oh.
end there.
Oh,
and
yes.
there's buzzards and there's lots of
Yes,
wildlife.
they would have any application have to include a full ecological survey. It's like the non-invasive attitude on the old rice.
There's butterflies. Thousands of butterflies.
Anyway, just go back to the gentleman there.
Back in 2017, when it was opposed and finally rejected, was there an action team, a committee or anything like that? Because the vibe I'm getting at the moment, there's no team or anything in place at the moment. It's all going through a website, and that website's controlled by the council.
On behalf of the planning inspector.
So there's no. Well, it really worries me that it's no one that with actual vested interest who's actually on a team saying yes we do want this proposal. No, we don't want it. We do or don't want it with these conditions. It's all going through a website, and all of a sudden we're all going to get hit with it, and we can't do anything about it. Who is the one person controlling this?
At the present moment, the planning inspector.
Who is the planning
I can't read his name now, David something.
Yes, but can I go back to this? Because we can all put in our supposed objections onto this website, but then who is the person taking all these proposals forward in a logical and concise manner and putting them through to the planning or the council or whatever? Who is this one person? There must be someone there who is acting on our behalf and our interests.
What happens is all your comments to go in, they are collated by officers. The planning inspector will then take them, read them, and reach
Yes, but you can change them, you can drop them out. Who is the one person there who's auditing what's going on and saying, yes, this is an accurate representation of all the comments put in? So I'm not hearing that.
Someone impartial, basically. Impartial.
But surely someone impartial has to be someone in this room or a group of people in this room to say, yes, this is what people are saying.
All comments will go forward to the inspector, the full thing. The council will also summarise for committee reports and public reports the comments. The full comments go to the inspector, so he will see everything.
But there is no team here then who will see that. So it could be a totally abridged version of all the comments that people want to put in going forward. To me, there's this massive gap between what people may be saying and what's then going to go forward to the committee.
Should we have a champion to take this forward from a local community? Should we do an online petition or something like that?
Well, there needs to be a team. You need to have a team to take this forward.
Petitions don't work. Yeah.
The gentleman raises a valid, valid point. So when some of these objections and comments have been posted online, obviously they're verified, go on to the planning officer. What we want is at that stage feedback coming back to us so we know the comments, because we need, this needs to be verified. You said audited. We need to know what the objections are, people's comments. You can see everything.
See them online.
That's good.
See them online. So that's good. So the website public, there will be a summary will be published for the planning policy committee and for council.
And the summary also available to anybody who's
Yeah,
requested.
it's a public committee report. Anything that goes for a committee, except where there's commercial competence or staffing issues involved, is public.
Could I say then that those of us who might write directly to the planning office rather than going through the whole consultation process, will that also be included in terms of comments that will be made or taken into consideration?
If it's typed, they can scan it and get it in that way. If it's handwritten,
no,
they'll have to.
Yeah.
That's
repeat that email address, which for the that's better than trying to get.
Well, for North Walsham email address, we can give you that before you.
On Station Road, with the 54 dwellings that got accepted there, did that have to go through the same procedure as this? Because the town council turned it down 3 times. There was an online thing as well, and it all got ignored and it all got put through. So if that can happen on Station Road and be completely ignored.
Station Road, site on the Paston Foundation. It's been around since 1605. That site was proposed originally for market housing back in 2020.
70 odd houses.
It was deferred at that time because of highways concerns from myself and Marshall Lloyd, who was councillor of West Division at West Ward at the time. It all went quiet. It came back, but this time it's affordable housing. Basically, it's a flagship development. We looked at it again. When making a planning decision, you look at all the evidence, you look at what the officers have to say. Reports usually about 10-15 pages long. And then you have to look at what the National Planning Policy Framework tells you must do. You look at what your own planning policies for districts say you should do, and the weight in this occasion it was heavily skewed by the fact it's affordable housing and there is a huge need for affordable housing. So
But the
on
road,
that
the road,
basis, it
the
was approved by
infrastructure, you can't get, I mean, 54, if we go by 2 cars per house, that's over 100 cars on that small country road. And how in a built-up area, I mean, it's a worse area than the end of Mundesley Road. I mean, it's tiny in comparison because of how you can get to it. So the whole process is the same again with Mundesley Road, is what I'm trying to get at, which...
Every planning application is judged on its merit. And that means looking at all the reasons why you might want to reject it, reasons why it ought to be acceptable, and weighing them up. An officer then puts the balance report to the committee. The committee then pulls that apart, and sometimes that can take 15 minutes. This one took about 2.5 hours, if I recall. I was sitting in the chair for that. And it comes down to the fact that a democratic decision was made by 14 elected members. That was a suitable site because it gave us essential affordable housing. That was what gave the most weight to that.
So is it true?
We understand. We understood the traffic concerns there, and we know we're going to go back and talk to highways on whether they want to, because they're going to look at mitigations along in those roads anyway for North Walsham West, so it might be a year or two away. But you've got a site there that is never going to be a playing field again.
It could have been a cemetery though, couldn't it? Because is it true that the new cemetery is going at the back of Waitrose?
The town council has had, and this is completely separate, has had discussions with the
It's all about North Walsham.
taken some survey of that field, just beyond the kennels. That's as far as it's gone. There's no planning permission on that, no planning application. There's some consultation with highways on that, but that is a town council matter. Again, there's no planning applications, there's nothing to see here basically at the moment.
Watch
If you
this
want to
space
question
then.
that one, then you need to question the town council.
I will.
That's why I say for each development that's passed, there's a community levy charge that the parish
There is a
gains money as well.
It depends on where it is. Some there'll be a considerable. Any development, there is something called an S106 agreement, which is where the developer has to put funding into typically a long but varying list of things. The two big ones are a contribution to education. The county is making huge demands for special education needs funding at the moment, far in excess of what it's entitled to. It's trying it. And if you saw the county finances, you'd know why. There's usually a demand for a certain level of funding towards health, which doesn't get spent locally, it goes into the authority's pot, and we probably never see any of it. There will be funding for open space, allotments, maybe various other more local things. Usually those are ring fenced to the town.
The parish and town indirectly.
Yeah. Much depends on how the negotiations go. And,
so it's like I scratch your back, you scratch me.
Yeah, that's exactly. No, that's certain groups can make immediate demands on any new development. Education and health are two big ones. Highways can make demands as well, but that's usually done some separately as part of the design process. But it's usually money comes in locally. There can be trade-offs, need to contribute to affordable housing if they're putting a certain number on the site. If they don't put them on the site, it's supposed to make a contribution towards affordable housing elsewhere. It's horribly complex, horribly legalistic, and I'll leave.
So in a way they're buying their way into it. So in a way they're indirectly buying their way into it. Indirectly, I'm only saying.
It doesn't matter where a development takes place. Even a householder may have to pay something for it. You build a separate house on your back garden, then you may be charged for something called GI RAN, which is recreational open space.
Could I just interrupt?
Yeah,
at
I
this
mean,
stage? I think
conscious time is
yeah,
getting on.
well, and also we have to clear here on the 12 o'clock for
Right.
Phoenix, who've got their other people coming.
Very well.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Paul. I very much appreciate your input for that, and very difficult situation for yourself as well, really, because you can't actually give any succour to us.
No, I'm sorry about that, but I believe in being absolutely realistic.
Yeah, yeah, okay, well, thanks. Can I just, before we get to sort of any more open questions for anybody else who wants to
Yeah, can I just ask one question, it's a matter of semantics. At the moment, what we would be putting on the website or anywhere else is comments, pure comments.
Yeah,
But we have to wait for a planning application to arrive, possibly March next year. Is that the time then for what we would call the difference of an objection?
That's where you object.
Yes. As
Comment,
opposed as opposed to objection.
comment on the local plan proposal, you object to a planning application.
Yes,
That's very important.
Could I actually, that actually to some extent leads into, I was going to say there's a date for your diaries, which is actually the 26th of November. There is a town council meeting at 6 o'clock in the evening in the offices, which are opposite the post office. And I believe that there is a possibility of an application, the Richborough Estates being present. Maybe it is very much a tenuous thing at the moment, so we don't really know. They may be there for a presentation of potential input for their plan, and then there'll be a discussion by the district council thereafter. So that's on the town council. I beg your pardon, sorry, it's the town council.
Sorry, what time was that again?
That's on the 26th of November at 6 o'clock, but the town council open meeting, where I believe public are allowed to attend, is at 6:30 that evening. Okay, so that's an important date.
Can I just ask, just for some information from District Council, if possible? Just to inform responses and comments, could we get some data on things like jobs available in North Walsham, school places in primary and secondary schools that are free, so that we can actually hit the inspector with lots of data that actually, obviously, as it's open information, that says we don't need 330 extra homes.
Right. Okay,
Sorry.
Can you get hold of that information, Kate?
Sorry, I was just talking to somebody there. What was
I'll grab you in a minute.
Yeah, if you speak to Kate,
Yeah.
Also, just while I've got your attention, the planners have actually sent me by email a flowchart to help you complete the consultation form, and we do have a paper version as well, which I can email to people so that you can print it out and submit it. We prefer to have the online details, obviously, but that's also an option for people. There's if you want to look at the end here, tape here, there's the flowchart details, just to give you an idea.
Is it possible to have a Facebook page, with all this information on it, contacts?
That's a very good point, actually. It's something that there's been a few people who are talking about, possibly forming some kind of a work party. But it does need to have somebody or include somebody who is very computer savvy, I think, because it's important that this information gets onto the local websites and this sort of thing. So if we have any volunteers who would like to form part of a work party, I mean, I'm happy to help with the work party and be part of it, very happy. But we do need somebody. I'm not computer savvy. I mean, if somebody just says those 4 words to me, it sends me into a fit, like it's easy, just do. I mean, I'm then in trouble straight away. So we really could do with somebody who's quite computer savvy, who can put stuff on Facebook, put stuff on Nextdoor, and so on. So if there are any volunteers, we'd be very happy to talk to you afterwards. And, maybe we could do something along the lines that the gentleman raised the point about earlier on, about perhaps creating a focal point, really, is what you were sort of partly saying, wasn't it? To
absolutely.
So you can come to and say, what about this and what about that, and we could perhaps respond with an email and some information and that sort of thing. We probably wouldn't have any major effect on decisions made at district or planning level, but but we might at least be able to keep people informed of any developments that were going on. Anybody who left us an email address and were happy for us to do that, you know, that is a possibility, but we need about 3 or 4 people, and certainly one of those people needs to be computer savvy, which unfortunately I'm not. So, any volunteers? But if they are, please come and have a chat afterwards.
Do we know at the present time who actually owns that field? Is it Risborough
I
Estates
don't
or
actually.
is it
Mr.
Alma?
No, it's a local farm.
Well, we don't know. We
See, we've
keep
been told
hearing
that somebody else, he's sold it
somebody
on.
else sold it. It's been sold.
Oh, right.
It hasn't been
Both of the
sold.
fields.
We
Oh,
just don't
really?
know.
Apparently so.
Right.
The normal route is that the company like Richborough takes an option to purchase, subject to getting planning permission. But they wouldn't actually develop the site themselves, they sell it on.
So
But
actually
who
then,
actually owns it at this
Well,
today?
I personally, I don't know.
None of us know.
He does still own it.
We don't know.
but he's not going to tell us, is he? Let's face it.
Well, the land's still being farmed at the moment. Got, oh, sugar beet, is it?
Anglian Water have a standard response to anything. The capacity is acceptable for the scale of the development. They say that to absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Possibly have a knock on effect to the rest of the town.
Oh yeah, that's a standard comment. You don't get anything else out of them. Those water towers, when I lived up Norwich Road, many years ago, those water towers, they were built for a town of less than 5,000. And an old boy came in, ran 2 diesel pumps in the morning, fill them up, came back in the evening, fill them up again. They're pulling water out of those boreholes continually now.
Can I just give you a statistic? If you want a statistic, if all the housing development is planned, put forward on the North Norfolk plan were to take place, the draw, if you took the 2,200 homes at the top and the 330 homes on this proposed site that we talked about this morning, the total draw would be in the region, and this is using figures from the Environment Agency themselves, who give an average litrage usage of water per household, would be 322,284,050 litres. And you can imagine what that would do to.
How often is that repaid?
That's if everything was built, but of course that hopefully it's not going to be the case. But I mean, it's just but it's an alarming figure nonetheless. It is.
We're the driest area of the country. We have the fewest reservoirs.
Yeah. Well, that will impact that, of course.
Believe it or not, they are legally required to expand the waste treatment works to meet the demand. But what, we all know what water companies are like.
Thanks very much for coming. Obviously, people are on the move, so much appreciated. Thank you for coming along. And please do shout and go at whoever you can to
whoever you can.
Comment. Sorry. Yeah, we're running out of these now very fast, I'm afraid. So, yes, brilliant. Thank you very much.
Sorry, can I just? No, that's all right. I just wanted to nip through.
David and Janet.
You and everybody's weighing good. We need all the support. The Richmond proposals are in here.
Is this anybody's?
The developers' proposals.
Yeah, I've got this copy.
Yeah, they're the copy from the website. I don't know what else John has put in, but. I've just changed it, sorry.
That's all right.
I remember putting them in the folder, but he's obviously had a revision of that.
Okay.
But they are all available online.
Yes.
Including reference to access from Acorn Road. But possibly buses, dust drains, and everything.
Oh, it's going to be awful, isn't it?
Horrendous.
Yeah. I think Station Road has been forgotten about that, really, hasn't it?
I think that I should have spoken up earlier. Suddenly everybody got up and went. But
Yeah.
talking about, there's communication amongst yourselves, the interests of people. How do you do that nowadays? We talk about a very formal one.
Yeah, sorry, Cushcake, sorry.
It's even possible to have a private Facebook group just for the people.
Well, this is why I'm recording it.
Yeah.
You know, because for inclusiveness, people that couldn't make today,
Yeah.
that this affects, they can watch it online.
Yeah.
But you know, it's
it can be restricted just to a private group.
Yeah.
I ran a little one for the U3A gardening group. That works very well. Only people who are in the group can talk to each other.
Yeah. I think at that point, yeah. But I think you still need as many people to know about it at the moment still, don't you? I mean, because the town council put some stuff up about this meeting today, which is good.
Yeah.
So the next meeting is on the 26th of November. Did he say?
Yeah, it's going to be at the council offices.
Yeah.
I understand it has been made open to the public.
Yeah, yeah.
And if a Richmond person is there, he's going to present, or she, present to the council their proposals.
Yeah. Is a few of you going then? Are you?
I don't know. I'm not really. I'm old. I've just had my eyes done. I can't see very well.
There's not great lights in here either.
Yeah, this light's horrendous. But yeah, John lives on. I live on Swayfield Ryan, but John lives on the side that faces the field.
Yeah. Well, I spoke to someone the other day because I did a walk around with a camera, and did the whole walk. And I spoke to somebody at a bungalow, but do you think I can remember who it was?
Yeah, I put. I think it's John Tuck, and I put stuff on Facebook and on.
Yeah, I don't do Facebook very much, but I should. But
yeah, Facebook and Nextdoor.
Right.
And very little response, but there's been a lot of readers.
Yeah.
And I think there's a big trouble. People, I wouldn't be good enough to say apathy, but they don't have the strength or whatever to make a protest, and they don't know how to do it. I think some strong leadership is what's important, and continually updating on where we are.
It's huge, isn't it?
It is.
And a lot of energy to fight something that you have little chance on as well.
There's lots of people here, obviously, strong feelings about it. But what are they going to do? They wouldn't do it.
I don't know. I don't know.
So
But this is a start. This is a good turnout from
Yeah.
what Station Road had.
raising awareness
Yeah,
is very
because
important.
Station Road was pathetic, really, when it
Yeah.
came down to it.
Yeah.
By the time I found out about it and videoed around that area, it was too late.
Yeah.
Because they were literally
is.
going up to District Council for them to
Yeah.
put thumbs up to that.
Yeah, I mean, the picture I put on next door of the field, which basically is the loo from in John's Garden.
Yeah.
And a lot of responses say, oh, lovely, such a pity to put it on Green Lane sites and whatever.
How much is that going to hit the cost of housing? You know, the bungalows that are already there, are they going to have an impact when they go
It's
to
going to
sell on?
devalue.
So I mean, that lady over there that's having the bridge built, who's going to want to buy her house
right.
once that bridge
And what
is right
compensation is
there?
she going to get?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I better go and get one of them little forms.
Yeah.
But
hopefully it'll be another 40 years before it pops up again. He'll be fighting this for 40 years.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, I remember when we lived down there.
Oh, yeah, we lived on the corner straight from the road.
I
didn't we?
lived on the corner straight through Line Muscle Road.
Yeah.
And I remember for a while, we moved into there in 2006.
Right.
And Maz Jam, son was she lived next door and she said, I've been fighting this for 20 odd years, so it's another 20 years. Because they kept trying and trying.
I mean, Paston Way, you know, the wildlife out there, you know, what is the impact?
I could never get my garden done because everybody was walking past the dogs for going down.
Yeah. It's a lot of use, you know.
Yeah.
It does.
Of course it is.
And it's good. It's one of the attractions for North
It's an
Walsham as well, isn't
amenity
it?
you're taking away.
Yeah. Yeah. But I was only down there a few months ago recording all the butterflies, all on the ivy that was growing up and all along that field. It was absolutely
When I lived in the Midlands, we had a dip and the same sort of threat, and somebody dug a pond and put a lot of newts in it.
Really?
Fruited.
That's a good idea, isn't it?
But they said no wildlife.
Yeah.
Well, I think bats have more rights than us, because if there was bats there, they wouldn't go anywhere near it, would they? Because they're protected.
Obviously, the developers already done their surveys. They know there's nothing there. They're professionals. They're all amateurs.
Yeah.
It'd be a job to meet them.
You see, the thing is when they're out there and doing stuff, it's always best to go up there and ask, what are you doing? Some might tell you, some might not, but they do.
Richmond Estates will send a whiz kid down to the meeting. Who'll, you know, very presentable kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a professional. You know, he's good at his job. He'll say it.
I'll go and get one of them things.
Yeah. Okay. Look after yourself, Simon.
Thank you.
It's a force inspecting.
I'm actually Norwich.
Somebody, are you very computer savvy? No, that's my problem.
At least it's better than
Because we desperately need somebody who's good.
Nottingham last week.
That's the way of the world these days. People use that platform. Just talking to people is good in some ways.
I've kind of catch you instantly running
You need to advertise it on Facebook.
Oh, hiya.
Hiya. Could I have one of your
That's about the town council meeting on the 26th. Yeah, sorry, what was it you wanted?
This.
Oh, it is that. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. No, okay.
Thanks, John.
Thanks very much. Yeah, nice to meet you.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
It wasn't you I was speaking to the other day, was it, when I went round and recorded all round the site and everything?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, I can't remember his name.
No. Oh, you've been around the site, have you?
I've recorded all round the site.
Oh, have you?
Yes.
Oh, right. Oh,
Yes.
interesting. Are you Claire?
I am.
Yes, right. Okay.
That's scary.
Yes,
How do
it
you
is.
know
Yeah.
me?
Well, you know, wheels within wheels.
But when the woman come in with the camera.
Exactly. It's pretty obvious, really.
Well, this is part of
it's
inclusion.
a
So
useful
people that
thing,
couldn't
yeah.
make it here today,
Yeah.
they can hear and see
that's
what's going
great.
on.
So you put that online?
This all goes on to YouTube.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
So does my chickens. You do do get a mixture of the chickens as well.
Brilliant.
But yeah, because
that's
I
great to
love
hear
North
that.
Walsham, and
Yeah, yeah.
because of Station Road as well. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
the build, and it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I've got to save up and get a drone because then I can start. I can
Oh,
start
don't do
getting,
that. I've sworn that if somebody sends drones over me, I'll take a 12 ball to it.
Well, it depends. There's a law about that. You need to be careful.
Yeah, yeah, I
But
know.
for
I
the
know,
building
yeah.
sites,
Yes.
I'd love to get a drone for
Yeah,
that,
that
to
would be
see how
interesting,
they're
actually.
doing it.
Yes, yeah.
Because walking around, trying to get the whole. That's why I walk around with a camera.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
No, I mean, there's no denying what you see, is there, really? Well,
What
unless
you
you get
hear.
into AI, I suppose.
Oh, no. No, a part of the YouTube is you have to click that nothing's been changed or altered or
Right,
anything,
you have to
which
sort
is
of
why I always
declare that, yeah.
Yeah, so I always try and put everything up unedited the
Yeah.
best I can.
Oh, right,
So
okay.
then from start to finish,
It's
it's
totally...
just and then you get the feel like. When we first arrived, it was very tense in here, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you'll be able to pick that up on there, so
Yeah,
you can tell, and then I might send it off to
Well, no, that's
the
great,
planning
because-
commission.
Yeah.
So here you are. Shame you weren't here, but this is what happened.
Are you the chap number 5?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, nice to
Thank
see
you.
you.
Thanks, Paul. I didn't know if you were leaning against the door. I just want to open it and come through. Hi.
We'll come in and you can get out.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, right, yes, of course, yeah. You're Mr. Rumina, right.
You must be Kate.
Yes.
Hello, nice to meet you. My hands might be sticky because I've been going back and forth.
So you're going to put that up online?
Yes,
it was useful for
I
people.
am.
I mean, it'd be good to
Well,
get the information
Yeah,
out, I think.
and I'm just hoping that there's a lot of people softly spoken as well, so I'm just hoping enough got picked up.
I'll get the, I mean, great turnout. I was surprised it was that busy.
I counted over 50 at one point, but then people were then coming in. You
Yeah, I
must
think
have
they were
hit
all-
about 70, I
Yeah.
thought. You should have had a click of people coming in. But anyway, nice to meet you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Nice to meet you. And there you have it. People, as usual, come out of meetings and they have their chats and discussions. So yes, watch this space. Cheerio for now.